Hello Professor, my name is Ankit Kumar. My student ID is 2104816. So today is my presentation topic gonna be on memory, and there are 8 parts which I will talk about, and I am the only one member in my group. So the parts gonna be like I have divided: brief overview of memory process, type of memory, memory and trauma, memory and depression, memory and anxiety, memory and ADHD, tips and techniques. This is my today's presentation, all the overview. So now I'm gonna start my presentation. So recall activity. Memory can be impacted by several things like time, personalities, attachments, and so many other things, and exposure, familiarity, interest, environment factors, and so many other factors which we see in our daily life most of the time. Uh, so, memory is divided in there are two type of memories: short-term memory, long-term memory. And but like the thing is, long-term memory have two parts like explicit memory and implicit memory. And so there is a like explicit memory is a memory like something called declarative. Spotiopic memory is concerned with the members, whereas semantic memory is concerned with knowing. Epidemic memory is specific to the individual. It is the recollection of re, biological biological experiences and specific events in the time serial from which we can reconstruct the actual events that took place at a specific points in our time lives, like wedding day, first day of school, twin towers, and so many other many special moments. Uh, Semantic memory includes things that are common knowledge, such as the name of the colors and the which what color is grass, the sound of letters, the capital of countries, and other basic facts acquired over a lifetime. Priming refers Priming refers to the better responding to target material based on the previous and similarities. So the example, if we talk about example, if someone says I'm thinking of a yellow fruit, common initial thought is banana. Yellow and banana are generally closely associated in a memory. Similarly, in conversation, if you hear something say like I ate a yellow, followed by muffled word that sound like an. You might well hear I ate a yellow banana because you have a semantic network like the one in the diagram. The word banana is activated by its associate. So the word yellow is so easily retrieved, it even the stimuli is powerfully or degrade the memory retrieval is automative and evoked by the situation. So this is the example of implicit memory. Procedure: riding a bike, driving, typing. So now we have another map which will explain the memory more deeply. So you can check it out. Two above are basically the same model. Bottom model better shows the role of attention and why we correlate attention with working memory deflects. Short-term memory and working memory sometimes used interchangeably, different terminology based on the theorist definition. And working memory is a theoretical framework that refers the structure and process used for temporarily storing and manipulating information. Working memory and attention work together in a process of thinking. For those who differently short-term from working memory, short-term memory is in general refers to the short-term storage of information. Example, hearing and repeating back series of numbers. And it does not entail the manipulation or organization of the information. When used working memories which entail manipulative, So, for example, hearing a series of numbers and having a repeat to them backwards. When we do a memory testing, we break down the assess these various stages to see where the problem is. So, Beverly and its model of working memory you can check out in the diagram. So, central executive act as a supervisory system and the control of flow of the information from it's a slave system. So like phenomenal loop and the visual sketchpad. So the retrieval versus recognition. Recall you must retrieve the information from your memory, fill in the blank or essay tests, free queuing serials, take out a piece of paper and name all the presidents. There are the three main type of recall: furry, queuing, serials. Serial is a recalling items, events in order in which they occurred. Different effect that occur within recall primary and recency, word length, etc. So if I give an example like in serial, like we learn our president or prime ministers in a serial of years which they were like elected or some kind of information. So Washington, here are the list of them. So like Washington, Taylor, Harrison, also like all these. Example of retrieval effect. Primary effect, remembering items early in a list. Example would identity Washington. So recently effect like recency effect, remembering a last presented item, identifying Obama. So the serial positioning effect is all about recalling items, events in order in which they occurred. Example, Lincoln's somewhere in the middle. So recall versus recognition. Uh, Recall is all about you must retrieve the information from your memory. So which I talked about in earlier slides, like it's fill in the blank or essay tests for a queuing serial. So recognition in a recognition you must identify the target from possible targets. Multiple choices tests are the example of that one. So there are the three main type of recall for queuing serials. Serial is a recalling item events in order in which they occurred. Example, you tell a person a short story and then one is tell me what you remember, recall. So give me a cue. Story was about a woman and then she, if that prompt more notice, do they tell me back or in order? Recognition task was the woman named by Mary, Beth or Sue. Perhaps they cannot really recall the information in their own, but there are they still able to identify it from the list. Emotion and memory is our next topic which we will cover. So both are connected. So many research findings shows that people are more likely to remember more emotional events from non-emotional ones. Like emotional means attachments and bond with their multiple relationships with their parents, families, friends, girlfriend, fiance, and so many other things can be included in that one. So emotion can enhance memory, so like flashback memories or occupancy. Emotion can inhibit impact memory. So repression. Why? Flashback memory and remembering of highly emotional stimulus has to do with this hormone release, increase brain activity process, make the brain apt to the take like and transfer information, also make memories more vivid, enhance recall. So Freud psyche iceberg metaphor. It is a diagram which is more informational. I have less time. You can check out. Repression. Repression is like the if I give you definition of the repression, it is like a defensive inhibition of unbearable mental contents, like the function of rejecting and keeping something out of the consciousness. So inability to uh, in this inability, repression, conjunctive awkwardness, avoidance. So Freud originally did not differentiate between the repression, and Aina did more work on defense as well as working with kids. Repression is a normal part of human development, so it is has also some more information. Uh, so defense are not a bad thing; they are necessary, or even everyone use them. Defense are automative and usually unconscious process. Don't tell yourself to use them. Serve to reduce or cope with anxiety, fear, resolving emotional and mental conflict. Protect one's self-esteem. Protect a sense of security. Only becomes political when overused. So, now we're gonna cover up the topic memory and trauma. So it is all about memory may include narrative, verbal, visual, imaginary, sensory, somatic, affective, feeling, interpersonal, behavioral. But a traumatic memory is all about sensory, linked with the intense oral, fragment, and body rather than what verbal memory. Children extreme behavior within a relationship can be seen as a defensive or self-protective. So the behavior must be seen as the attempt to master extremely difficult environment in the way traumatized children are doing the best that they can. Um, today's now I'm gonna talk about memory and depression. So depression is like a trending word or trending concept in today's era due to many reasons. So mood congruent memory is also part of that. Research has shown that depression has been correlated with memory defects. Think of depression symptoms like low motivation or reduced our thinking, our awareness, and entertainments. So depressed more likely to focus recall on a negative, and these kind of things can lead among us to the depression. So memory and anxiety. Anxiety is like a trait anxiety cleaning elevated levels. Similarly to depression, think of symptoms, symptomology, and how encoding process going to impact elevated and stress hormones, fight and flight. These kind of things can lead us to anxiety. So now we're gonna talk about memory and ADHD. It is all about Berkeley theory of about that, which is shown working memory, and self-recognition of alert, and interpretation of speech, and which all made fluency syndromes. So kids struggle on task measuring VM on Whisk, partially those involving mental manipulation. Kids with ADHD have adequate or adequate or exceptional memory for things that happened long ago. So now we're gonna about tips and technology. Memory tips like multiple forms use retrieval cues or recognition, and visual, verbal, and repetition, rehearsal, and over learning strategies are memory, home, related to hometown or rhythms, etc. Contests, talking around, printing, painting, make a moonlight full, highlight key words, and this kind of stuff is all about in memory stuff. Cognitive redemption ED theory activities, brain games like which one is missing, increase the conversation, talk in depth about the event information, talk about past events, give details, show pictures, videos, and be active on social media kind of stuff would be helpful. Build multi step activities in home with children, grand or old citizens. Intervention of for intention. So disclaimer. Alternative tips referring to the causing it is triggering trauma related memories. So that's it. This is my presentation. This whole stuff is like research by only me. So maybe you can find some like more errors because I don't have any friend or another group member in my class. So I have to made it on my own. So thank you. I hope you will understand and or you will like my presentation. Thank you.